So, hey, you've been dreaming, planning, you've been watching travel videos, and now it's the time. You've decided it's time to get out and travel internationally. Well, good for you. Hey, a couple of questions to ask yourself. Are you somebody who's looking for culture shock? You just want to get right out there and see things that are really, really different from what you're used to? Or are you somebody who wants to kind of just put their toe in the water and test it? We have a couple of destinations we think are perfect for the first-time traveler that doesn't want to get whacked over the head with major cultural differences. Hi, I'm Arnie of Arnie and Jo Are on the Go.com, where we talk travel, tech, and lifestyle. If you're new here and if you're into any of those three things and you want to know more, why don't you go ahead and click that big red subscribe button down below. Make sure to click that bell icon also so you'll be notified whenever we put up new content. We're planning our next trip to the UK and thought this might be the best time to talk about what we think are the best destinations for first-time travelers in 2017. Now, let me preface this by saying that we talk mostly about Europe and North America in our travels, and we focus on this from the standpoint or the perspective of citizens of the U.S. Not to say that this can't be a benefit to you if you live in Canada or, elsewhere, but that's where we're coming from. One of the things that I like to bring up first is there's more to travel than the big cities. Whether you're going to Canada, whether you're going to England, whether you're going to the continent, don't just go to the major cities and say you've been, when there's so much more to see. It always kills me when people say, "Oh yeah, we were to France," and I said, "Well, where'd you go?" "Oh, we went to Paris." Well, Paris is great. We love Paris. But that isn't France any more than going to London is going to England. So be prepared to step outside outside of the big city thing to see so much more. How are we going to approach this countdown of ours? Well, we're going to look first at things like ease of communication, and then ease of getting around, and somewhat expenses. We don't worry too much about that. Not that we're rich and we spend huge money, but traveling does cost money. So here we go. Our top destinations for first-time travelers in 2017. Our first suggestion is Canada. Now, I can hear people scoffing, particularly other Americans who kind of think of Canada as being just another state. There's a big difference between the two countries, and the best way to start experiencing that is to go there. There's different culturally, they're different politically, so much more. And two particular places that we would recommend are Victoria in British Columbia. Kind of gives that little bit of an English vibe there. Really cool. Situated on the water, beautiful, beautiful place. Our second recommendation for more cultural diversity is Quebec City. Again, this is one of those places that is unique to North America in that this area is French-speaking, also English, so you don't have to worry about it, but it gives you the flavor of being in France without being in France. Of course, there's much more to Canada than just those two cities, but I thought those were kind of the two highlights. Second on our list would have to be Britain. Going to England, Scotland, Wales. The big draw there, obviously, is London. But as I said earlier, don't just limit yourself to going to London. There's so much more. Go to the Cotswolds. Gorgeous little villages. They're just, I hate to say it, but picture postcard perfect. They are amazing. Go to Bath and see the Roman baths there. Oh man, go to York, the countryside of Somerset. Oh man, there's just so much to see. Wales, of course, is great. If you really want to get out into the country, there's probably the area of least population in Great Britain is Wales. And you get the added benefit of having a language that is totally different than English. So you're going to have some language diversity there as well. Great, great place to visit. Scotland. You know, again, I'll bring up Edinburgh. It is one of everybody's favorite cities. It's really worth a visit, but there's so much more. The Scottish Highlands, the islands. You know, you can go on forever about all the great places to visit in Scotland. Don't limit yourself to just visiting the cities. Do yourself that favor. Let's move across the channel. The Netherlands. First time we went to Netherlands, we were blown away. We could not believe how well the Dutch spoke English. There's hardly any accent. So you're not going to have any trouble getting around. And just like all the other countries, there's so much more outside of the major city of Amsterdam. We've taken our bikes out from Amsterdam to the villages out surrounding it. There are other cities close by, not quite so large, that offer a lot. Small towns north that are famous for, you know, the cheeses like Edam and Gouda, and there's just so much to see outside of the city of Amsterdam. The Scandinavian countries. Again, a place where English is broadly spoken. Now, let me clarify, just because I say it's broadly spoken, you are going to run across people who don't speak English, but they're pretty rare, mostly older generation. Scandinavia, Denmark, because of our heritage, it's one of our favorite places, all right? Get outside of Copenhagen, go see the castles, visit places like Ribe, which is spelled R-I-B-E. I know, it's hard to imagine that's what it sounds like. But Viking heritage there, they've got a great museum, and just so many places like that. And if you're into Legos, the original Legoland is there as well. And the island of Arrow. Arrow is such a beautiful place, laid back, quiet. And you feel like you seriously have stepped back centuries when you go to the Isle of Arrow. That's Denmark. Again, same thing when you go to Sweden and Norway. Step outside the major cities, visit the fjords, see the smaller towns. You won't regret it. Moving from Scandinavia, move into the other Northern European countries. Germany, of course, and France, Belgium. All of these are great, great places to visit. France is a particular favorite of ours. It seems to us that you'll find more English speakers in the Northern European countries than you will in the South. Now, of course, this is a generalization. Doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. But for first-time travelers, you might find yourself more comfortable following this progression. Now, getting around, in most European countries, getting around is so much easier than it is here in the States. There's tons of mass transit. You know, you can catch a train, you can catch cheap flights around. So much more convenient. Expense. I have to say that going to Europe is not a cheap proposition. It will cost you. As I'm making this video, the pound is £1 is equal to $1.30, so it's 30% more than, you know, your dollar's not going to go quite as far. But you know that going in, so just be aware, plan accordingly. Europe, the euro now is pretty even, so it's a one-to-one thing. So figure on when you see something cost 75 euros that it's just about $75. So keep that in mind. So there you have it. our suggestions for destinations for first-time travelers in 2017. If you have other suggestions that you'd like to throw in there, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment down below. We always appreciate a big thumbs up as well. Hey, and share to Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is you use. We do appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next time.